From the iHeartMedia Studios, A Professional Edge by Sean G. Todd, tax attorney CPA and certified financial planner, is providing general information related to taxes, investments, and estate planning. This information is not to be perceived as providing individual legal, tax, or investment advice, as each individual's circumstances are unique. Being a listener does not create an attorney/CPA or an investment advisory client relationship. Each individual's personal situation is different, and seeking one-on-one advice with a licensed professional is recommended. Securities and fee-only investment counsel is provided through Schwab Institutional Member SIPC. This is Professional Edge, a program designed to help you understand the importance of getting counsel and advice from a licensed professional and help you appreciate the significance of being able to integrate your investments, tax planning, and estate planning into one cohesive plan to prevent an unintended consequence. We will be talking with Sean G. Todd of Estate Management Counselors, LLC. Estate Management Counselors, LLC is an independent fee-only investment management firm based in Atlanta with a satellite office in Columbus, Georgia that serves select clients throughout the country. Their goal is simple: to make sure their clients feel confident and secure about their financial future. Sean is a truly qualified professional. He is a licensed tax attorney, a CPA, and certified financial planner. He is also an adjunct income tax professor at the University of Georgia. One unique thing you might not know about Sean: he attends the National Rodeo Finals each year. We will be talking with Sean.
Thank you for joining me here on the Professional Edge. My name is Sean Todd, and this week we have an incredible lineup coming to you. And I appreciate your time tuning in. This COVID has actually sprung into existence again and started to rise more. And when we look at this and we say, okay, what do we need to do going forward? Because we're having some incredible statistics coming out, and that is going to affect our retirement plan, our income tax plan, how we actually do business going forward, and how we actually live. A lot of individuals had to pivot and basically work from home, and then we have the dynamic of our home office, which unfortunately the IRS has taken away that home office deduction, which is unfortunate because look at how many millions of people would benefit from the home office deduction. So being a tax attorney and a CPA, this week we're just going to talk about that makes sense. And when we talk about that makes sense, what do we need to do with things that make sense? You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't implement anything, then it goes to waste. Sort of like a flat of flowers that you buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, name the place a nursery, and you bring them home. They're all lovely. They're great. Those things it makes a lot of sense. They're sitting there like that. But if you don't act on those, meaning put them in the ground and actually plant them, take action on these that make a lot of sense, then they wilt and they pass away, and you don't get the benefit of them growing and actually turning into a great backyard or front yard. So again, that's my analogy. The flat of flowers, they're sitting there. That's what this show is about. That makes a lot of sense, but unless you implement things, then nothing really transpires. So when we look at some of the stats that came through this week, unbelievable, the shrinkage in the United States GDP. GDP stands for gross domestic product. It shrunk by 32.9%. Think about that, folks. It shrank by 32.9%. Another 1.3 million people filed for unemployment. Our current unemployment rate is right at 18%. That's the real unemployment rate. And that is basically those people who have been searching for jobs for 27 weeks or more. That is 18%. That's 1 out of 5. That's crazy. So when we look at that, we need to step back and say that makes sense on what to do. We also have one of the largest federal stimulus programs in place, in force, and we have this debate now that is stuck in the Congress about the $600 extension for unemployment benefits, that bump. So, our service workers were making more on unemployment than actually having a job. We can debate that all day long, but that's what came through, and now it's in debate in Congress one more time. So what makes sense? What we need to do is actually step back and say, okay, our portfolio, it is different now. There are certain sectors which are under complete pressure, and let's just review one. And if you haven't taken a review of your portfolio during this plummet that was on March 23rd, we were a low of off 30% from the all-time high. And yes, I'm covering a lot of territory because that makes sense to get a perspective on what you need to do as a listener here on the Professional Edge. So if you have not taken an objective look at your portfolio, this is your wake-up call. Please do so. And we offer that service to give you an analysis of where your portfolio is, how it can sustain one of the things we've talked about here on the Professional Edge, your sequence of return risk. And that is if you retired in December of 2019, wow, it was great. And then all of a sudden by March 23rd, your portfolio was down 30%. How comfortable would you be thinking about your retirement decision in December? You would be sort of sweating bullets if you didn't have your financial plan in place. But if you went into retirement then and you already knew your portfolio could sustain this sequence of risk return, then you would be okay. You would be comfortable, and you would not be subject to the market matriculation that happens, and you wouldn't fret because you know that your plan works. Majority of our listeners, unfortunately, don't do that retirement plan, and I'll talk about what I'm referring to as the bundle that we're going to offer our listeners here for the COVID crisis. We're going to bundle several things for you, being a tax attorney, a CPA, a certified financial planner. And the bundle is putting a retirement plan together, your estate plan, and also your tax plan. That's the bundle. All three of these work. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But let's get back to what makes sense. Is doing that portfolio review to make sure that you're not over in one sector that's just going to continue to get crushed. And the one sector for our listeners would be commercial real estate trusts, they're REITs. With these, there are different types of REITs. And with this, commercial property REIT would be, let's say, the owner of buildings that rent out these high-rise buildings, 20 stories, 30 stories. Could be some office parks that are available that you see some warehousing, see some office space. So these entities buy these properties and then they lease them to their tenants. Well, as we saw what the pivot happened, and now we know that we can continue to do business from working at home. Zoom has put us into this. We can work from home. We can still see our colleagues, and we can access the information from the cloud. So this takes the place of that office space, the physical space. So I would see and project going forward, there is going to be a large vacancy rate. Now, people aren't going to surrender their lease right now, but when it comes time to renew those leases, companies are going to say, we don't need 30,000 square feet. We can actually get by 5,000 square feet. Let's cut our rent space. So therefore, we're going to have this oversupply in the marketplace, and REITs are valued based on cash flow and rent rolls. So that's going to have to go down in value. You almost have to say that makes sense. So if your portfolio has some of these commercial REITs, and I'm not saying all REITs are commercial REITs, because you can have a REIT in a different sector, could be hospitals. Those would be okay because of the push on hospital stays and the aging of the population. So those would be okay. So again, do you actually know what is in your portfolio? And if you don't, do give us a call at 877-654-9798. That is 877-654-9798. And when you make that call, definitely inquire about the bundle. And that is our special offer to our listener here on the Professional Edge. It's to put together your retirement plan, which is normally $1,500. We do your estate plan, which averages about $3,000 to $4,000, right in that price range. Then we put together your tax plan. That's another $1,000. If you combine that up, that's almost $6,000. For our listeners here on the Professional Edge, if you say, you know what, I want the bundle, we're going to do all of this for you for $3,000. That's our gift to you as a listener here on the Professional Edge. We're trying to get people to take that first step on things that make sense and put this bundle together. That way you have greater peace of mind that your retirement plan's on track, your estate plan is in order, and your tax plan is done too. So that makes sense. So again, that number is 877-654-9798, 877-654-9798. So what else makes sense? Well, we might have some clunkers in our portfolio now, and if it's in your after-tax account, here one thing that would be part of that tax planning is it's okay to sell some losers. Everybody can't be the greatest stock picker or investment person. So therefore, you might have a clunker, and it's okay to sell that and capture that tax loss instead of just looking at it on your statement each month and say, wow, I've lost, let's say $7,000 in that investment. Well, if you don't sell it, there's not a sale or disposition the way the Internal Revenue Code is written. And therefore, if we have a sale or disposition of that asset, we can then recognize that capital loss, and we can utilize that to reduce your taxes. Now, there's a limitation, $3,000 to offset other income. So therefore, what do we do with that other $4,000? Well, we get to carry that forward indefinitely, and then next year we get to use $3,000, and then the final year we get to use another $1,000. But in the real scheme of things, most people own mutual funds, which do capital gains distributions. And at the end of the year, then we have these capital gains distributions. So guess what? We get to use this capital loss to offset that capital gains distribution to reduce your taxes. That's the tax plan that we do. Being a tax attorney and a CPA, that's how we help our clients maximize their investment returns by reducing down the amount of tax that they send to the IRS. So again, our number 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. Be sure to ask about the bundle. That's where we're going to do your retirement plan. That's a written projection, your estate plan, and your tax plan all in one bundle. And that normally we, if you combine that, charge north of $6,000. If you say, hey, I want the bundle, we will do that for you for $3,000. That's out the door. We will even break it up in payments for you. We want people to start taking action. You're sitting at home, you're looking at your file drawer, and not everything is up to date. That makes sense to get this going. So after break, we're going to talk about some other things that make sense and also get you to incentivize you to move forward and take action.
Well, I'm on my way.
We've all thought about it. Everyone listening will need one. Not having one can cause untold heartache, family conflict escalating to the point of a lawsuit. One simple thing that avoids all that: an effective estate plan. As a practicing tax attorney, Sean Todd with Estate Management Counselors has completed over 1,000 estate plans during his 15 years of professional practice. He can help you implement an effective estate plan, coordinate your financial accounts, and make sure you have named the proper beneficiaries to maximize your tax savings. Call 877-654-9798 today and let tax attorney Sean Todd help you implement an effective estate plan. Call 877-654-9798 today. As a tax attorney CPA for over 15 years, Scene Todd has implemented over 1,000 individual estate plans. He has recently authored an especially helpful guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan. This guide has helped many individuals to understand the benefits of an estate plan and how to avoid unintended disasters. Scene has made every attempt to write this in plain English. To receive this valuable guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan, call 1-877-654-9798 and request your complimentary copy today, or by emailing your request to info@emcadvisors.net.